Welcome back! In this video, we're going to walk you through the different components of a resume and show some samples of each. The components of a resume are typically going to be a heading, qualification section, education, experience, and we'll also talk a bit about some optional sections. The heading is the first thing on the page. This is where you put your personal information so that your document can be identified quickly and make it easy for the recruiter to contact you. Your name needs to be stated at the top. It's the biggest thing on the page, and we recommend that you use your common name. This isn't a legal document, so just use the name that you're using during your job search. For example, if your resume says Michaela, but in the interview you're going to introduce yourself as Kayla, it just causes a bit of confusion. Think of it as marketing for your brand. Choose the name that you're going to use and use that consistently in everything, your emails, your phone messages, etc. Your address is easy enough. Please only list one. You could just use your city and state. You don't need to use your complete mailing address since recruiters probably won't be mailing you anything. For the phone number, keep it simple. You don't need to list multiple numbers, please just use one. Make sure your voicemail is professional and you only answer your phone when you're ready to talk to a potential employer. Same with your email. Make sure it's professional and easy to read. You can use your SPU email or another address like Gmail, as long as it's professional and you check it regularly. If you have LinkedIn or a personal website, you can include the link here. The next component of a resume is the qualification section. You may have seen in the past people using an objective section, but we're steering clear of that these days. It doesn't really tell the employer anything interesting about you. They already know you're interested in the position. That's why you're applying. So instead, use this space as a selling point. The qualification section is like a movie trailer, a sneak peek that includes all of the best, most relevant, and most important details at the very top of your resume, so that your resume will make a great first impression as soon as the hiring manager begins reading it. You can call this the summary section, highlights, or qualifications. Your qualifications are usually a combination of hard and soft skills. Hard skills could be any software programs that you're familiar with, any language abilities, and also anything that's industry specific that recruiters will be looking for. Like if you are in a technical field, certainly list the programming languages you know. You could summarize and quantify your most relevant skills. For example, 3 years of experience working with children. Soft skills could be your interpersonal ability, communication, work ethic, and other similar skills that would be useful in the position you're applying for. As you can see in this example, the person provided a summary stating that they are excellent at providing customer service. That's something that just about any employer would value. Then they talk about their communication skills and look at their foreign language. They didn't say that they're fluent in Spanish, but just a basic ability to communicate. This indicates some travel experience that's often relevant to many positions. They mention their organization skills, but back it up by showing that they've been complimented for their project coordination and timeliness. That's not just their opinion, they've been recognized for it. Refer to the job description and see what qualifications they are asking for. If it's listed in the job description, make sure you have those words weaved into your highlights section. The next component of the resume is the education section. Keep in mind that this section is towards the top of the page for a current student or recent graduate, but once you've been in the professional fields for a while and you have more experience, the education section can move towards the bottom of the resume. Here you list your major or your degree. Please note that it's Bachelor of Science or Art, not bachelor's, which is a common typo. Next, list the name of your university and the city. List the date you will be graduating, month, and year. Some people like to flesh out their education section, and certainly if you have space and there's relevancy, you can list things like GPA, honors, scholarships, etc. There's controversy about GPA. Some people say always put it, others say only if it's asked for. Do what's the most comfortable for you. Coursework can also be a relevant item to add. You don't want to list all the classes you took, but if it's specific to the job you're applying for, that might be helpful. Degrees go in reverse chronological order. By the time you're in your first or second year of college, you will usually no longer list a high school degree. If there's a specific activity or honor that's really important to you, that could be listed. Similarly, if you have an AA degree, you can choose to list it, but since those credits roll into your bachelor's degree, it is okay to omit it. If you have a double major, concentration area, or minor, be sure to include those as well. Here is an example of someone who has been in college for a few years. The student chose to include some of their academic accomplishments and their on-campus involvement. And here's an example of a first-year student. They listed their intended major and anticipated graduation date, and will certainly add more information once they become more involved at school. Moving on to the experience section, start with a job title or role, the company, the city and state, and the dates that you worked at that position. Now, there are a variety of ways you can list the dates. The most standard is just the month and year. Whatever you do, do it consistently throughout the section because this is another place where your structure and formatting will be recognized. The number of bullet points that you do depends on how much relevant content you have for that specific experience. Now, writing strong bullet points can be daunting, but here are some tips to get you started. Think about the important duties you took on in your job and order them by relevance to the position you're applying for. Start with strong action verbs like facilitated, designed, organized. Think about what you did that was creative or unique or original. Add numbers and percents where you can. This gives the reader a frame of reference and quantifies your work. Here's a simple exercise to get you started. Start with one experience, paid or non-paid of yours, that could be used on your resume. Ask yourself, what did I do? Choose 3 to 5 skills you developed from this experience. How and why did I do it? How are you going to prove these skills? Identify the action that was taken. And next, what was the result? Or what impact did you make for the organization? Another tip, don't just list the tasks you did, but describe your accomplishments. This positions you as a strong candidate and highlights your transferable skills. Think about how seemingly unrelated experiences can demonstrate skills that are relevant for the role you're applying for. For example, maybe you're applying for an office position, but most of your experience is in food service. You don't want to write bullet points that say, took orders and clean counters. That's not really relevant to an office setting. Instead, you could write complimented for providing superior customer service. That's the same thing as taking orders, but it shows a transferable skill that employers would be interested in. Same thing with the second bullet point. If the next setting you're going to doesn't have countertops, clean counters is an irrelevant point, but maintain clean and organized work environment would be valuable in any setting. So what actually counts as experience? It doesn't have to be paid experience. Even if you've never had a paid job, you've participated in activities or you learned and gained valuable experience. Think about volunteer, leadership positions, even classes. Let's say you designed a brochure as a class project. You could list your role as the designer and the organization as business brochure class project, along with some of the skills you used. Include experience if you were captain of a sports team, a volunteer position as a tutor. Even club memberships show that you know how to work with other people and follow through. Add some bullet points about being responsible for budgeting or running meetings, and this experience can be just as valuable as a paid position. You can also create different experience sections that will allow you to pull the most relevant content to the very top. For example, if you're applying to work as a teacher, but all of your professional experience has been in the food industry, you could create a section titled Teaching Experience, where you could list things like volunteering as a tutor or teaching VBS. Consider headers that will catch the recruiter's eye, or simply call it Related Experience, and then list everything else under Additional Experience. So here's the example of what we've been working on. You can see that this student is indicating a wide range of experience, but the summary at the top of the page ties it all together. That's it for composing a resume. Make sure to watch our next video as we identify effective resume writing strategies. And once you have a strong draft of your resume, current undergraduate students and undergraduate alumni are welcome to come to the SPU Center for Career and Calling for additional feedback. Stop by our office on the second floor of the Student Union building, or call and schedule an appointment for further support with your career and calling. Also check out our additional online resources on cover letters, LinkedIn, job or internship searching, interviews, and more.